The Conjuring, Last Rites is very much the ending of the current Conjuring films, but the future is still up in the air for the franchise as a whole. The 9th film in the franchise and the 4th film that's a direct part of the mainline Conjuring series, Last Rites brings Ed and Lorraine out for one last investigation. Advertised as the final case of their careers, Ed and Lorraine's story does indeed get wrapped up with the record-breaking release of Last Rites. However, just because Last Rites ends the story of Ed and Lorraine doesn't mean the Conjuring movies are done, even if the series may end up lying dormant for a while. Last Rites is the ending of Ed and Lorraine's story. One of the big draws of The Conjuring, Last Rites is the way the film closes out the story of Ed and Lorraine Warren, even as it leaves the door open for future films set within the same universe. Introduced in 2013's The Conjuring, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga's version of Ed and Lorraine have become fixtures of the series. They serve as the leads of the 4 Conjuring movies, and played supporting roles in the Annabelle films, especially Annabelle Comes Home. The couple served as the franchise's bedrock, helping keep it grounded even as more overtly supernatural and demonic forces came into play. Over the course of the series, the films have steadily had the Warrens contend with their own age, especially Ed, whose health became more of an in-story concern in the later films. This builds to Last Rites, which largely focuses on the Warrens towards the end of their careers. In fact, much of their arc in the film, especially for Ed, comes with making peace with getting older. He's too eager to get back into the field, despite the warnings of his doctor and his wife. In a similar vein, he's having trouble accepting Judy's engagement and the reality that she's grown up. This emotional core builds to the sweet final scene between Ed and Lorraine at Judy's wedding, which serves as an epilogue for the couple by revealing their long and happy lives together. This means the Warrens have been given an effective out from the franchise. While Ed and Lorraine could return in some minor ways, like a cameo or a reference, in future films, this turn means any future story heavily featuring the Warrens will lack much dramatic tension. Audiences know the Warrens get a happy ending, so we don't need more adventures focusing on them. In that sense, Last Rites does serve as something of a finale for the first 12 years and 9 films of the Conjuring universe. However, there's still plenty of life within the horror franchise, especially given comments from the creatives behind the scenes. The Conjuring is gearing up for Phase 2. Judy Warren smiling creepily in a broken mirror in The Conjuring, Last Rites. Part of the fun of the Conjuring franchise is the way it quickly grew beyond just Ed and Lorraine. While the pair have headlined 4 movies in the franchise, the Annabelle and Nun spin-offs proved that the series has potential outside of their paranormal investigations and exorcisms. As such, there's plenty of potential for the Conjuring universe to go well beyond Ed and Lorraine. The trophy room belonging to the Warrens set up plenty of malicious threats in Annabelle Comes Home, any of which could become a new focal point for a horror story. The Annabelle doll and the nun painting are seen briefly in The Conjuring, Last Rites, but a proper return for either of them could drive a new movie. A follow-up could even revisit the Warrens, albeit this time shifting focus to Judy and Tony instead of Ed and Lorraine. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, New Line president Richard Brenner discussed their hopes to keep the Conjuring universe going even without the Warrens. He described Last Rites as the last of what we call Phase 1, but was quick to point out that there are hopes for Phase 2 going forward. While there are no new Conjuring movies currently confirmed, outside of expressed hopes for prequels focusing on the Amityville haunting or potential stories focused on Judy, the future is wide open for the series. Phase 2 could fully shift the focus to Judy's own paranormal investigations, establishing a legacy element to the series' future. There's also little chance that Warner Brothers and New Line want the Conjuring franchise to come to an end. Since 2013, the series has grossed over $2 billion at the box office, and that's before Last Rites has fully added to that total. If The Conjuring can continue, the studio will want it to.